Okay, this is Nessyp P. We are back with Debonnaire music. These guys are just awesome. I'm just telling you ahead of time, they're just awesome, and we can't wait to hear all of their music. But do you guys, does everybody in the group write music, or is it certain members that write? How do you guys work that out?
Well, all of us can. Sometimes it's do they? Life gets in the way, so it ends up falling into me. Well, Phill does all the composing. Everything that you hear is all him, all his compositions, and I do up to this point 95% of the writing, lyrics, arranging. Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure because you want your other three brothers to really like what you bring them.
Okay.
And it's always nerve-wracking when I send what I've come up with to Phill, and I spend that 30 minutes waiting for him to text me back with a thumbs up or I don't know.
What about you, Phill? How do you add the writing into the group?
Just like Willie said, I'll send him, like, I don't know, 50, 60 tracks. He'll pick out some. And it's funny because knowing how he writes, I kind of always know which tracks he's gonna pick.
Okay.
And then he'll send me like a demo, so because he's got a portable studio at his house, and he'll just send me a demo of some lyrics. I would say it's probably hit 9 times out of 10. But it's that one time it's like, oh, dude, do you really want to say that? So he may reword it,
Okay.
or he'll explain it to me. Once he explains it to me, it's like, I get it, And
Okay.
if we were going after like a younger audience, I would probably say, you kind of make them think. But a mature listener will understand what he's trying to say, because some of it can be productive or suggestive, but it's not raunchy.
Okay.
It's like, oh, that was slick what he just said.
Yeah.
And once you get it, you get it.
You get it.
Yeah, I try to make my love songs, how do I say, baby making type music.
Okay.
But you don't always have to say it. And I think grown folk know what you're saying when you say innuendos and you say things and like, ooh, I know what you're trying to say there.
Something
and that's
similar to Ron Isley. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool part of writing. The new younger generation are a little bit more explicit. I sometimes think that we're saying the same thing. I'm just saying it a little bit slicker than they are, from
You
experience.
just added some class to it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you say that.
Oh, and another thing about when Willie's writing, it's not just the lyrics, it's the melodies that he comes up with. A lot of times, me as a musician, I can hear those little melodies because a lot of times, people will write and they tend to write melodies that fit the chords that are being played during the track. Willie will find notes that aren't quite in the chord that's being played, but it's in the scale of the song. So it kind of gives it a little more feeling, And we have one song. I told him, the way that he wrote that melody was like one of my favorite songs of all time. And it's a song that we wrote he wrote the lyrics and the melody, and I composed, and produced the track. And when we finally put it together, to this day, that is probably one of my most favorite songs, just because of the way that it was written, the storyline, the way that it takes you on like an emotional journey, because it has some begging in there, and it has some, it's you just got to hear the song. It will definitely take you on a journey.
Okay. So what has been, you guys have been performing most of in the DC area, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what was your favorite performance as a group and why?
Ooh, man. Wow. Well, I would say
Oh, see,
that
this
time
is a good thing because you got so many that, you're trying to pick out which one. So that's a good thing.
well, I think for me, actually, it might have been the time, Phil. I wonder if you remember this. We opened for Regina at that hotel. That we had some sound issues, but there had to be 5,000 people in that auditorium.
Okay.
And that was I think that was one of my favorites because maybe that was the biggest crowd. And we really, in my heart, I have to believe that we got back together a year ago after a long break, and we didn't know if we could still do this thing, and we went out there and we sold out a show and rocked it, and so that one stands out also. But the biggest show was the one we opened for Regina Belle, and that was like, whoa, man, okay.
That's
I don't know if it gets better than that.
Phill, what about you?
That's a good one. One that does come to mind is we did a fashion show. So we were the musical entertainment for the fashion show.
Okay.
And I mean, it was just a good experience because it was a huge crowd. They didn't really come to see us, but we got so much love because people were like, we never knew who you guys were. I mean, everybody came there, for the fashion show to see, and it was a pretty big crowd too.
Okay.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow. So how do you think the group has evolved from when you first start getting together and putting this together up until now?
Well, I think, and I don't want to get too technical because, I still want your audience to find us really sexy. But, as we got more mature, and I mean as singers,
Okay.
you stop trying to outsing or oversing every single song. Our first album, it was like you're just trying to belt out as hard and as great as you can. And then as you get older, you realize, you know what? As long as the audience understands the emotion behind what we're saying, we don't have to sing. It doesn't have to sound like Luther Vandross all the time. It could, it's us, and you can feel the emotion behind what we're saying.
So in other words, you guys got a little smoother?
I think technically we learned how to emote a song.
Okay.
And that has a lot to do with Phill, because Phill kind of taught us and just told us that, hey, you don't have to feel this, you just need to feel it. If you feel it, the people listening to it will feel it.
Yeah.
And so that's I think is our biggest evolution, to be honest with you.
Okay. So do you guys have any like rituals that you do before you start playing in a live performance? Like some people, they're gonna pray, or some people are gonna eat popcorn or something like that. Do you guys have a ritual?
I mean, we always come together before we go out there and pray. We pray that mainly that one of us doesn't trip and fall on stage and it becomes a meme or something. We kind of make fun of each other, kind of to try to bring down the tension. And we encourage each other, because we are a team. So I always look at the other guys and say, hey, go out there and kill these people. They pay, good money to come see this. Yeah. Let's give it to them. And that's about it. I mean, I don't think we're any different than anybody else. We do come together and pray and just encourage each other and make fun of each other. And yeah.
Okay, so do you guys get nervous? I mean, some people say, oh, I got it down, I don't get nervous. What about you? You guys get nervous right before your performance?
Every show.
Every show?
Every show. See, for me personally, I have a crutch. because they have to stand out front. I'm in the front, but I have like keyboards in front of me.
Okay.
So I can kind of hide behind my keyboards while, but they have to be out front, they have to entertain, I'm just singing background and doing my part.
Yeah, and I get horribly nervous, and I'm the outgoing one on stage, which is surprised. I could tell. I'm sure you're surprised by that. So I'm the one that does a lot of talking and jumping around, but I do that to try to tamp down some of the nervousness I have. And then it's always funny because when I look back at the video after the show, you're just like, oh, I can't believe I did that or said that, and they're funny because they're encouraging me because the more I do, the less they have to. And, but it's just, you just having so much fun and you kind of get in cruise control and you're just feeling it,
Okay.
and hopefully it doesn't end up embarrassing.
Okay, so speaking on that, what was the most funniest thing that happened between you guys and fans?
I know
that was a good question.
Can I tell that one?
Go ahead.
Okay, so like I was telling you, one of our group members, Wiley J.
Okay.
We were down in a city called Ohoski, North Carolina, and we were singing at a festival, and their stage was the back of a what do they call a flatbed truck?
Like a flatbed
18-wheeler. Yeah, that was our stage.
Okay.
So we partied a little bit too much the night before. Okay, I partied a little bit too much the night before. So we had to cut some of the songs from the set that I was doing because I lost my voice halfway through the set. So we ended up closing the show by doing an a cappella song. You remember the Shy song? What's the name of it?
Fall in Love.
Yeah, If I Ever Fall in Love.
Okay.
Ooh, da, da, doo, doo, doo. Yeah.
Yes.
So we did that. And at the end of it, there's a really, really high note. And Wiley J hits that high note, and we're doing this a cappella. And he holds it, kills it, and the girls went absolutely crazy. So right after the show was over, we said, thank y'all. Thanks for coming. We love y'all. And we sat on the side of the stage to sign autographs, and the girls rushed Wiley J so bad that the police had to come in and escort us out.
Oh my goodness.
They pinned us up against the stage where we couldn't move, we couldn't leave, we couldn't do anything. And the police had to come onto the field and escort us out of there. It was so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Craziest thing ever. And it happened by accident because we couldn't do our regular set because I messed it up.
And that's where being musicians comes into play. Because if it was all on tracks, we would have been stuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we could switch it up and add some stuff and take some stuff out. And yeah, it was crazy. And don't let artists lie to you. It was scary. We were scared physically. And they didn't mean to harm us or anything. They were showing us love. But when that whole audience starts swelling down on you, we were scared to death. I know I was. Yeah. And they weren't even there coming for me.
You too, Phil? Was that the same story?
You see a swarm of people coming at you. You don't know what the intent is. I mean, we kind of knew what they were doing, like Willie said, they didn't mean any harm. But yeah, you see hundreds of people just running at you like almost a stampede. I need to get out of there.
Okay, so you guys tell me what upcoming projects that you guys are working on now.
Well, we are actually in the early stages of filming our next music video for our next release for a song called First Time. It's a little bit more of a modern feel to it. It's kind of what we like to call grown folks trap music, little bit. and we're actually getting ready to start. We're in the pre-planning stages now of shooting that video,
Okay.
which would be our second video ever. So we're excited about that. We do all of our own. We're going to do all of our own stuff, shooting it, producing it, directing it. Phil's going to be the cinematographer. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And you know, we usually release a couple songs a year
Okay.
because we have a lot of them.
Okay. Okay, we're
And
gonna
then
take.
I'm just on a side note, I'm actually traveling to Europe to market for our group because all of our fans, most of our fans, looks like it's from in England and Germany and France. So I'm
Really?
actually traveling out there with Glenn Jones. Yeah,
South Africa.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a groupie now. Just watching you guys. Okay, so we're gonna take another commercial break and we will be back with Debonnaire music.